on Illidan made it a disaster for Team Sweden.
All right, so the French team is looking strong, and they were labeled a big favorite in the Nexus games for a reason. They have individual class. Now they really seem to have a good grip on those team fights as well, where we always favored Sweden beforehand. Do you think they have enough momentum right now to take the series?
It's going to be tough. I think Sweden, if they realize what they want to do, they work out, they come together as 5, they make one determined plan, then I still think they can do it. But if we see another weird thing happen and they don't look like they're all sold and they don't look like they know how to do it, then I think France can steamroll ahead.
Yeah, it was nice to see Sweden go out of their usual comfort zone here, but it's called a comfort zone for a reason. And as such, I'd like to see Sweden stick to it. If not, then I think France could be taking this series.
All right, we're going to find out our next battleground in a bit, but before we do that, guys, we're going to show you the picks and bans once more on the map video screen. Now, there is still a couple of battlegrounds available. For example, we could go to Tomb of the Spider Queen, which you guys brought up multiple times right now. Once again, a good map for a Gul'dan pick on either side right now.
And a good map for Zagara as well. I think all the maps that are left can really favor either team. Is super exciting.
Yeah. Of course, we're also speaking of Infernal Shrines here. It's actually surprising to see that this battleground had been ignored up to this point.
We could also be in a situation of, if this map pick is chosen by Sweden, they may be in a situation of, our backs are up against the wall, let's throw a wrench into the works and potentially pick up the Warhead Junction if they wanted to.
Yeah, Warhead Junction is the big X factor, I feel, in this tournament right now. None of the teams really likes to go and play on that battleground, but by the same token, if you're that one team who really practices hard on that battleground, you could put enemies into that discomfort zone. And
especially if you have maybe a pocket pick like Zagara, let's say.
Someone who can maybe have a good time split pushing lanes with nuclear missiles. Who could be useful in that?
Well, I'm going to give you a tip, guys. The next battleground is not too shabby of a battleground for Zagara. What do you think it's going to be?
Probably Cursed or Infernal. I'm going to go with Infernal.
They agree?
Tomb of the Spider Queen.
All right. Unfortunately, you're both wrong. It is going to be Cursed, although the desk is turning purple. Probably my most favorite visual effects here that we've got going on. So, speaking of Zagara and Cursed Hollow, was I correct assuming it's a good battleground, or do you have a different opinion on it?
It's definitely viable, but I'm not sure I'd describe it as a strong battlefield for Zagara. The issue she has is that Cursed Hollow is a very short lane, and that means it's very easy for, as soon as she pushes out, to get ganked from behind because of the rotation path.
In terms of split pushing, it can work out great. It's a huge map. There's lots of situations where you're going to know what the enemy team are doing. However, she can have issues in terms of damage in those team fights, and those tributes are very important on this map.
What we do know, however, is that it could once again be a good battleground for Abathur. Potential Illidan plays, potential Genji plays. Abathur is probably, or Cursed Hollow is probably one of the most forgiving maps for an Abathur early on.
I wasn't too convinced by the Abathur play of Team Sweden. Daikon, he's impressed us so much on the second supports and on some of those second ranged heroes, but on Abathur, not so much.
What would you like to see instead, maybe, to really surprise Team France if you're Sweden right now?
I don't think I'd want to surprise them. If I was Team Sweden, I'd want to stick to what we know, pick another Brightwing, pick that cooldown, just stay super solid.
And Zagara.
Or ban Zagara, I like that.
Play your own game, try and throw your enemy off of theirs. This standard drafting strategy. France, they know that even though they were able to beat the Abathur, this is once again a solid map for it. Like you said, it can be a problem. So it's just throwing away that wild card.
Abathur probably the best hero on this map if both teams are even. So I do like the decision for France to ban it out. They are still hovering it though.
All right, and if you take a look at the bottom half of your screen, you're going to see the community votes coming into this series, France against Sweden. If you want to take part in it, then let us know who you're cheering for. If it's France, hashtag FRWin, currently leading with a solid 76%. Or if you think the Swedish boys still have what it takes to come back in glorious fashion, hashtag SEWin.
We're seeing France using all of their time to work out this ban. Now, a lot of times we will see teams sometimes, even if they know what they're going to ban, which they do swap, so they were clearly talking about the ban, we will see teams, even if they know what they're going to ban, running down the clock on this early ban phase so they can discuss what their plans are for later in the draft as well sometimes.
Exactly, and a lot of mind games do come into it in these early picks. How fast do you lock? Does that throw your opponent off, or does that make them feel confident that you think you need to do those kind of tricks.
All right, Rhaegar. I mean, if we would mention all of the upsides and all of the advantages he brings to Curse Hollow, it would take quite some time. But most importantly, mercenary control, strong rotations early on, and good sustained healing, especially with the healing totem, which is oftentimes underrated, I feel.
Absolutely, and the big thing for me about Rhaegar is that tower pushing. It makes him fantastic. If there is one lane, you gank it, the enemy opponent does not have threat onto even 2 of the heroes, he can just take a tower. He can take an entire wall sometimes.
Very true, as we see ETC Greymane for that crazy, also mercenary camp potential, crazy push potential that Greymane offers, and of course ETC has potentially been the most picked hero in this entire tournament alongside Rhaegar.
I can see a theme here right now. Look at all those blue
Team
skins.
Blue!
That was good. I mean,
Yeah. If Tassadar was available, I bet you they would have picked him with mech skins, so they could have had Team Blue robots.
Here we go. Now, something I do want to talk about here is the fact that Genji has made it through. And Genji continues to be such a menace, and I can't even begin to imagine what Knuti, who's very likely going to play him, can pull off on that guy.
We could also see Daikon, of course,
be.
flexing to that hero. Sweden very flexible with their hero pools in general. I'm very curious to see. I think Sweden, so far, they look confident to me. They are fast on these ban timers, and they are picking strong heroes.
So right now I'm feeling Sweden potentially moving into a double reset comp. We've seen it a lot throughout this tournament. Do you think it would be viable for France to maybe pick up the Li Ming as a denial tool?
Li Ming, always viable, always strong. But against the Genji, she does sometimes struggle. Genji has a lot of pressure on her, and of course will or might force her to pick up that force armor, which is a big blow.
All right, speaking of hero pools, by the way, you brought that up. I do want to highlight Damatan a little bit here for Team France because he transitioned over from the Zagara. We all know how good he is on that hero, but he played a marvelous Sonya, didn't he, last game?
Yeah, absolutely. Completely shut down the Illidan and did so much in those team fights and made the game-winning play where he baited so well with that level 16 talent.
Definitely true, and it looks like we're going to see Damatan on a warrior again as ETC and Arthas are being locked in. And how much of an anti-Genji comp do you think France has up to this point? Do you like how many countermeasures they brought in?
So far, they're looking okay. Karazim's quite strong against Genji because of the amount of counter-engage and counter-pressure he has from his damage. Arthas, not so great, but still quite solid. And Greymane and ETC both good against the Genji. So they don't have anything that's weak to it, but they're not especially countering him.
Karazim is also great looking ahead. If there was a double reset comp planned, then Karazim is always good at targeting those squishy backline heroes, keeping the pressure on. If Li Ming is busy running away from Karazim, she's not busy blowing up your Greymane.
So, speaking of Karazim a little bit more, we have seen an astounding amount of 7-sided strike coming into this tournament and in competitive play in general. What is the reason, Bakery, you think that Divine Palm has fallen off in popularity a little bit?
I think Divine Palm is definitely a heroic where your team needs to play around it very well. To get full effectiveness, your teammates need to be planning to basically die and trusting you to follow up with that Divine Palm, but Samuro locked in for
Impressive, is he not?
Oh no, please don't get started here. As good as the skin is, I have a very hard time listening to the relationship with it. And you do such a good impression.
Well, we see Samuro for France and Gul'dan for Sweden. They still stick with that standard comp. Gul'dan great for setting up for Genji. And also, Samuro is basically a gift if you're in the same lane as the Gul'dan. Stacks for days.
You can't be in the same lane. That is going to be the rule for Samuro, at least in the early game.
Exactly.
I'm quite stuck here. I like both teams' drafts. I think they both know exactly what they're doing. They're both feeling good about the series.
What are your thoughts about the solo support Karazim against that Gul'dan?
I do think it is mildly scary, but at the same time, the amount of counter-engage pressure you have from having two warriors, from having the potential for the Arthas to flank, the ETC to stage dive, even the Samuro to be on the flank.
It's beautiful. I'm leaning towards Sweden because Sweden, Gul'dan, and get Genji for the first time, but like you said, this is scary.
So you think Sweden's got this?
Sweden.
Bakery.
I want to say Game 5. Let's say Team Sweden.
All right, I'm going to join the fray here with Team Sweden. I think this is very well the material that a Game 5 is made of. Now, Once again, we're joining our two teams here, France and Sweden, into the fray. On the left-hand side, Team France with Ewok on that gray main. Wonka plays ETC again. Masquerade on the support on Karzim. Kirwa is playing the Monkey King Samuro, and Danatan on the main tank on Arthas.
And on the right-hand side, we do have Team Sweden with Henning playing the Veigar, Vask on Mjordan, Knuti on his trademark Godan, Sko on the Genji here, and Daikon on the top lane on the Hacker.
Daikon is swapping so many roles in this tournament. He now plays the Bruiser, he plays the Brightwing as well, he can even go on the ranged flex. There's nothing this guy can't play, it seems.
Yeah, and this is obviously slightly weird. We did see Daikon play the Hacker just yesterday, so swapping roles a lot, and that either indicates confidence or no confidence from Team Sweden.
Yeah, very true, and it is just so cool to see how well these teams have prepared for the Nexus games here. The hero pools, the strategy we're used to seeing here all the time, it's just really good to see how high the overall general skill level is in the Nexus games. It really makes this tournament something quite enjoyable to watch. Now, in the meantime, 3 versus 3 here in that bottom lane. In the meantime, Genji's also duking it out against Arthas. Shouldn't really be too eventful because both of those are very hard to kill heroes. And top lane, it is Samuro against Dehaka. Now, this is a very interesting solo lane matchup, don't you think?
Absolutely. I think Dehaka does have the tools to do okay in this matchup, but only if he's played the matchup before. And I don't think he has. Samuro is not a common hero.
Definitely true. That is actually a good X-Factor moment you bring up there as well. How used are you against playing certain heroes like Samuro who are not often picked in Hero League, who are not often being played in competitive?
Not very used to at all in most cases, and especially if you do not play competitive very often. As Daikon, I don't think he does. I think he's mostly a Hero League warrior.
And in the meantime, we saw an attempted gank here on Arthas. Unfortunately, Dehaka arriving a little bit too late, and the damage by Genji was not enough to make Arthas fall. That, of course, gives a lot of time to Samuro to get a nice foothold in that top lane, clear the minion wave, but also good play by Dehaka, who only used his Brush Stalker when the lane was actually pushing against the enemy towers and not the other way around.
Exactly. So well played by both teams so far. ETC, I think he's already used Slide, but Genji, just no shurikens left, no dashes left, and ETC gets out, if a little low.
Yeah, this is now an important moment here. Around the 2-minute mark, Siege Giants should normally be taken, and we have both teams with the respective mercenary camp clears available. Rhaegar doing his job on the right-hand side, whereas Samuro is taking care of the left-hand side. And in the meantime, Danatan, this time around, he gets blown up to pieces, and he was just, I think, positioned a little bit too aggressively here, I feel.
Daikon hitting a very nice tongue, but Genji having so much pressure on all of the lanes right now, just roaming around and doing work, basically.
Yeah, this is really important. Arthas is back right now, don't get me wrong here, but it's going to take him a long time to even arrive there, and I don't think there's a lot of good poking capabilities available for France. They don't have heroes like Li Ming or Zarya to really stall this out a lot longer.
Yeah, and ETC cannot even get in position. Arthas not able to either. Masquerade maybe using a dash too far.
Yeah, that was a very risky play by Masquerade. Fortunately for him, he doesn't get punished, but that could have very well turned on against him. However, I think it was good game sense by Masquerade as well. He only went for that play because he realized he had at least 2 dashes ready.
Yeah, exactly. He did have 2 dashes. If he used the dash to interrupt, then he would not have had another dash to get out. But he showed some restraint, used the second dash to get out.
All right,
and again, comes out onto Knuti. He's far too low, and he just goes down instantly.
Yeah, that was quite the onslaught here. Wonka not hesitating a single second, knowing exactly what he wanted to do there. In the meantime, Kirwa could be the next ganking target. Dodges the tongue, very important. If that tongue had landed, Daikon and Skoch on the Genji could have made really quick progress here.
I want to draw attention to what Daikon did, where he cast Tongue in the only way that if Kerber did juke to the right, he would land it and they would get the kill. But if he juked to the left, he knew he could not land it anyway.
So it was basically a 50-50 choice of him landing and getting the kill or not. But Wonka with another mighty power slide, securing the kill. Muradin has had enough, though. He's going for the retaliation blow, but unfortunately there were too many French players to help each other out. So in the meantime, France showing some signs of life here. They could utilize this numbers advantage while Rhaegar is not here to maybe get this tribute, but it's such a good location for Team Sweden.
And Team Sweden have such great heroes for this time, but Danatan comes up with the huge flank, takes down Knuti, but they do not get the interrupt. Some might say that's worth it for Sweden.
Yeah, that was definitely worth it in my opinion. I think they traded a tribute for a hero's life, and especially when you're getting closer to getting to Curse Point, you could argue that was very well worth it. So Team France, they need to make sure that they are at the Tribute's location in time. If they let one slip through, they're going to get cursed.
Yeah, definitely. And if Team Sweden get a big fight here, or they even just get a wall, then they could be ahead or even in XP.
Yeah, but once again, we have to highlight the beautiful French coordination when it comes to executing those kills. Unfortunately, they couldn't get map objective value from it, but the way they focus on a target immediately with all the cooldowns they have is just very scary to watch if you're Team Sweden.
And the way that they set that up with the Arthurs coming down from the flank, Canuti did not even think that could happen.
All right, in the meantime, this time Kira was spotted by the Swift Strike. Skok almost having enough damage there with a deflect, but Samura survives yet another time. And this is very important. You couldn't have afforded to lose anyone there because the Tribute is about to spawn. This time, in the half of the French team. ETC is already posturing up. The remaining team members are joining into the fray as well. There's an experience advantage for Team France, so that's good for them.
If I was Team Sweden, I would not be interested in capturing this Tribute. I'd be looking for a pick. And they get a ton to Masquerade. He's got no more dashes. And Genji gets the kill.
Genji gets the kill. He gets the reset as well. And everybody on the side of Team Sweden is still in very good shape. And with that early loss of their support, Team France, they have to retreat. They have to give this up and now try to defend all three lanes to the best of their ability.
And that's exactly what Sweden needed. They get the pick, now they're going to get the top wall, and they're going to open up the potential for that boss. If they get this fort, they get the keep wall, and the boss comes down, that's almost certainly a keep.
Yeah, this time around, Masquerade, he once again did go for a very frontliney approach, a very aggressive play to maybe keep the frontliners sustained. And that's oftentimes the crux of playing Karazim. When you're the only support, you need to be close to your targets in order to heal them. And sometimes you overextend, you get caught, and quite frankly, I think Genji just punished that mercilessly.
Karazim is a hard hero to play, but it was Daikon with that fantastic tug that created that whole opportunity. And he has been playing such a great hacker this entire game.
Yeah, also nice UK by Arthas, doesn't get licked. Now it is Rask who's getting surrounded. Level 10s available for both teams. Murden still has the Avatar, but Seven-sided dealing so much damage. Karazim chasing down as well. The Stormbolt, though, immediately shutting down any more damage.
A huge horror fight saves his life. ETC goes down and Scott is diving the fort because it is
gonna get another one.
He gets
no way!
He survives as well.
Fantastic mechanical play here by Sweden. They managed all of their cooldowns so well. Genji just made it look like a piece of cake, basically diving into the enemy base, getting a reset after reset, but it was really hitting as well with an ancestral healing spot on.
Yeah, absolutely. Genji surviving.
Wow.
I didn't think he survived, but he did get the kill, so I thought it was worth it anyway. When he survives, that's the cherry on top. This will secure them the boss. Mjolnir is zoning at the other boss in the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, he's trying to cause a little bit of distraction, buying a little bit of time here. In the meantime, we see Genji already trying to make his way down to the bottom lane. And look at how much time he bought just with his Dwarven body's presence. And he also escapes the Seven-sided once again. Rask is making so many plays happen for the Swedish team. Before that, in that last engagement, he stunned Karazim with that Stormbolt at the perfect moment. Otherwise, one more auto attack and he would have fallen.
Yeah, exactly. He survived on literally the least possible HP he could have that last time. This time a bit more safe, but still living life on the edge.
And now that he bought all this time for France to really take that boss on the bottom, look at how much progress the red boss on the side of Team Sweden has already made. He's knocking on the keep door.
Yep, already taking down that keep wall. And I believe he should be able to secure at least one tower. France did commit a lot of resources to defending it though.
There we go. They're trying to go for a potential flank here. Corruption is good on Wonka. Of course, ETC does have the armor and the self-sustain, so it won't hurt him too much. Horrify was not used. I don't think it would have been worth it. The kill was not safe. It was not guaranteed, and it was too much of a risk here to go for that long tool run. In the meantime, though, Daikon gets popped.
We said he was playing so well earlier, and he was, but
Casticers, man.
One time just stepping too far forwards, and unfortunately he does get punished for it, as fans are so good at doing.
Exactly. So far, 0 tributes for Team France. They were dominated whenever it came to the map objectives here. Rask interrupting the rotation from Masquerade. The Horrify goes down in the meantime. Seven-sided is good, and can Murden survive once more? Avatar gets popped. He's a tanky dwarf. In the meantime, Genji is trying to use all the distraction caused by Murden, who survives once again to deal massive amounts of damage with the Dragon Blade. In the end, though,
they're getting so low, and they are diving the fort. 2 down already. ETC falling as well. I think they overextended pretty hard here. So Mo, of course, will escape. But damn, Sweden, they're so good at these turnarounds.
how do you deal with Rask on the Muradin right now? Every time he wakes the impression of, hey guys, you can kill me now. Just kidding. I'll just survive another time, you know?
Yeah, he just keeps doing it. And zero curses on both, zero tributes on both sides this time.
Yeah.
So not too close to a curse, but taking another fight, extending that XP advantage even more and staying in this series.
It actually looked like Friends had this in the back because they were just getting a kill onto the Dehaka. However, the beauty of a global hero like Dehaka is if you end up falling, you can use your trade or whatever else you have available to cover large distances and be right back in the nick of time.
Sweden, they have control, they have the structure advantage, but so far, this is not even close to in the bag. They need another big team fight, or they need a very big boss take.
Yeah, all those clutch moves and good flanks are only worth so much. As long as there's no keep standing, as long as it's just a one-level lead, as Bakery said, you don't have this in the back and you need to keep your guard up at all times. Look at Kirwa. Once again, he's putting so much pressure onto that side lane. However, look at how he's using one of his mirror images, faking the impression of that is the real body. And he actually acts like an AI right now to really fool Muradin into focusing the wrong target.
Dehaka getting caught again, and this is what Sweden cannot afford to allow to happen. They do have good interrupt, and they might be able to still fight this tribute, but it's not a situation they want to be in.
Exactly. As we're getting longer into the game, the death timers are going to grow as well. It is now still 20 seconds until the Bruiser is going to rejoin the Swedish team, and look at how well zoned out Burden is right now. However, I think Team France has learned their lesson. They're not focusing everything they've got on the Muradin again. Curse Bullet hitting on the Genji as well, who did a really good job at interrupting. And look at the range of Gul'dan constantly threatening in from the bottom hand side. Actually,
look at Danatan though. Danatan's behind, and they look pressure onto Kanuti. Danatan's still waiting. He's still hiding.
He's still hiding, but Dehaka is now back. Was Danatan too greedy? Did he wait too long? Genji is so low, can't participate in the fight anymore. The answer was good on Kanuti, and this is now a very chaotic fight. Skirmishes are happening everywhere, left and right. Wonka slowing him down. Oh, he wanted to go for a mosh pit there, I think.
He did it, but he did not get the channel. Cows him down as well. Team Sweden win another fight, which we just do not know how they keep doing it.
They were fighting on multiple fronts here, threatening people left, right, and center. And with all that confusion, it looked to me like Sweden just used their superior mobility. Muradin can jump anywhere. Genji is hard to catch as well. It just seems to me that the CC by France is just not there to maintain control over them. And Danatan, he waited so long to really make a move.
I think he waited too long. I think he needed to pull the trigger just a bit sooner. But this whole time, we've been talking about how good Kanuti is and how he controls the pace of these games. Well, that's not what's happening here. It's instead Skull on that Genji making huge plays.
Yeah, definitely true. And Henning, reliable and rock solid as always with those golden ancestor healings. We haven't seen a single one of those ultis not landing when it was the perfect moment to heal.
Impressive plays by Team Sweden, but still impressive plays by Team France as well. Samur currently using that global in the bottom lane.
And this could be a skirmish to go down near the Swedish boss very, very soon. Masquerade needs to be careful. He does have 3 dashes available right now. Once again, he just keeps going back in. One of those Storm Bolts, one of those tongues is enough to really kill him, and I think we just doomed him.
The cast comes out again.
Oh no!
Far too greedy. Kurma looks to be in trouble as well. The fear comes out on all 3 mirror images. Tongue does not quite connect, but Tribute is spawning, and this is another curse.
And this is a curse point for sure. 2 members from Team France being down currently. We kind of doomed here, Masquerade, I think. He just kept going back in and out, but in the end he paid with his life, and I love how patiently and macro-orientated Sweden is playing this. They're trying to go for the boss right now, and they wait a little bit longer to pick up this curse, and I don't think Team France even wants to contest this.
Mask, yet again, doing what he loves best, which is being an absolute nuisance at the enemy boss. And this is going to mean a cursed boss. This could be game.
Yeah, this is going to be a very scary push for Team France to defend against. Samuro's coming back in time, though. That's good for them. However, all 3 lanes are going to get pressured. And as Bakery said, boss lane is already pretty naked and exposed. Keep in mind that earlier we saw the tower line go down. The Curse Bullet looks good to Muradin. However, he will heal back up in time thanks to Third Queen at level 1.
Team Sweden opting to play it safe, just like they have for so long now. They're going to take the enemy boss, they're going to use the boss on top to get some damage on the top keep possibly, but it gets cleared so fast and so effectively by the Chaos team and the Samoa.
And we're still in a point in time here in this game where even if Sweden were to die as a 5-man unit, now a complete team wipe, I don't think would be long enough death timers to allow friends to immediately end the game. So they can play quite riskily here, maybe going for a keep or two, maybe even if they get a pick or two, go for the core entirely.
They definitely can, and the curse is still active, but it will drop off by the time the boss arrives. But it's still a boss. That does not mean they need to back.
Exactly. Top lane, by the way, the boss has been defended against, so only the keep is left standing here now against minions. Curse, 3 seconds left. Top is safe for now. All they need to focus right now, Team Friends that is the bottom lane. Strong poke coming in. That keep can't be defended anymore. Now, Danathan, he's trying to make a play happen. Samuro coming in with the mirror images as well. Jumping in, gets focus. It's just an image though. So all is good for Friends in Sweden. They're waiting for level 20, I think. They realized they don't have to put everything in one card.
They took the keep, they secured themselves the 1.5 level advantage, and that's what they are happy with. They leave, and they're just going to wait for that level 20 and look to do something again with that advantage.
All right, so Team Friends, they do have a little bit of time to recover. However, 20 is just around the corner. They need to de-push all lanes, take as many mercenary camps as they can, and quite frankly, they need to soak like they've never soaked before if they want to stay in this game.
And they have the tools to do that. Samuro, pseudo-global, using the mirror images, staying with the body in one lane, sending the mirror images, mounting up to another, and then swapping to that to soak both lanes.
Definitely true, definitely true. Also, I feel there's a lot of weight and responsibility now on the shoulders of Samuro. He needs to really be in the backline, threaten heroes like the Gul'dan, for example, like the Rehgar. As long as the backline is safe, I think Sweden is not going to lose any members. They're just so solid with all that healing provided by Henning, with all that chaos that reigns supreme. I think it really needs to be France who puts in the pressure. It
definitely does have to be. Sweden, what are they going to do with their level 20 advantage, do you think?
So in the bottom lane, we see mercenaries coming in. So we also have a mercenary camp in the middle. So I really hope they're going to put a little bit of pressure on. Go for the tower lines here, really try to force a cheeky engagement maybe by the French team and capitalize on that. They have all the playmaking heroic abilities at the ready. Horrify, Dragon Blade, those are all really important tools for them to make a play.
Absolutely, and with the level 20 advantage, I don't think France can do anything to apply.
But they're doing a pretty decent job at keeping the middle lane safe for now. Level 19 is here now. They only need another level to fight on even terms again. But look at that Bruiser camp. That is going to be the beautiful difference that could really allow Team Sweden to go for that killing blow on the middle keep.
And I just love how Curva is using these mirror images to face check brushes and make sure that it's not a hero that's getting caught by that mirrored installed blow.
So, 2 keeps are now down against Team Friends. However, keep in mind, in Heroes of the Storm, after level 20, all you need potentially is one team wipe. One good team fight for Team Friends to come back into this. And Sweden, they know exactly that this is the only winning condition, really. So if they overstep, if they overstay their welcome, they could open a winning chance for Team Friends.
You could see Team Sweden that they wanted that third
They really wanted it.
They were walking through the base, and suddenly they realized, this is not a good idea, guys. And they back out, they secure the tribute, and they put themselves in a fine position.
Right, Prog only activated now after 18 minutes into the game. You can really see how some battlegrounds are just not meant to be favoring. Oh, that was a nice scout here, by the way, but Wonka going in a safe place and just scouting over the wall with a beautiful face melt.
It's those kind of moves that separate good players from great players, and Wonka showing that understanding and that skill, basically.
Yeah, definitely true. I couldn't have said it better. Like, those tiny little details, if you are a Heroes of the Storm player yourself, those are the moves you can really learn a lot from in terms of map awareness, in terms of how you don't want to face check bushes. Curva, by the way, applying a little bit of pressure in the side lane, distracting Team Sweden as well, and buying a lot more control for Team France to de-push bottom and middle. That's definitely something they need to do. Keep those catapults away from your core as much as possible so we can potentially fight over a tribute. I'm not sure if France needs to take this fight, though.
I don't think they need to, so this is not Curse Point. But the fight goes down in the mid lane, actually. Huge Horrify comes out, gets 4.
Horrify goes down, Kirwa's dropping very low, and look at all the Swedish health bots. It is such good shape here. Genji, though, gets in the middle and gets caught as well. Gul'dan falls. No more damage is available for Team Sweden at all. A triple kill against them. Team France, they need to enter warpath mode right now and get as much value as humanly possible. The boss is already a good start. Kirwa is not wasting any seconds, joined by Wonka on the ETC as well. And with this boss bakery and such long cooldowns on the heroes, I think this is a very good idea to get a keep with.
This could be even more than the keep. They get this keep 100%, and Mjodin knows he needs to do something to somehow distract them and slow them down. So he's pushing in this bot lane. He knows he can't take the boss. He wants to put the catapults on the core.
Now, do you go for double boss play, or do you go all in and try to push with the top lane?
I think double boss is probably more safe.
Right.
Like, I don't think you could core. The damage was a bit slow on boss than I thought. If they ran directly for the wall possibly, or they already had a minion wave there, then they might have been able to. But this way, they're going to secure at least the keep wall. They're going to use Samuro as well to take a lot more structures. And then this will be the thing that secures them the keep.
All right, here we go. So, double boss play being deployed here by Team France. The good thing is, by going for a push in the bottom lane, they keep enemy catapults away, and they only let minions go through the mid lane. Speaking of minions, by the way, there's quite a significant amount of enemy minions pushing in that bottom lane against the French core. They will definitely have to send someone maybe to deal with this, because 3 catapults is the magical number. This could definitely take down your core.
Yeah, absolutely. And Karazim already dealing with that. They are now up to 2 tributes. Only 1 more and they get the curse. The boss marching down the lane, and they're not in position, but nor is Sweden. They want this hard camp. Yeah,
they really do want this night camp, and they're actually neglecting the defense in the bottom lane quite significantly here. Were they moving too late? But also France, as Bakery said, is still out of position. And look at all those lanes that are still so healthy for Team Sweden. The tower line is still standing. The gates were still standing. So the amount of damage Team France can actually put in here is very limited.
I have to say, I really do think that France misplayed this. To get 3 kills, to have all of them on over 1 minute death timers, and then to get 2 keep walls, that's just not enough at 21 minutes into the game.
And let's face it, even if they were to get this curse point now, a curse this late into the game normally doesn't do a whole lot, because wave clear for both teams get very strong. Hold that thought, by the way. A beautiful one-man focus on ETC. Wonka is no more, and this puts Sweden in a 5 versus 4 situation, not only preventing a potential curse, but also commanding the lead now. Fortunately for France, though, no more bosses are available.
Knuti taking so much damage from these Samuro clones. Masquerade saw the kill, but having to use all of his dashes to get out alive.
Definitely true. He did take Epiphany at level 20, if I'm not mistaken, so he gets another more dashes available just in case he finds himself surrounded by enemies.
And I think that might have been what saved his life there. I didn't quite see, but it looked like he used a lot of dashes, and he had to use all of them to get out.
Look at the beautiful micro, by the way, on the Samuro mirror images. Soaking and damaging multiple lanes at the same time, keeping minions at bay in the middle, applying a little bit more pressure in the top lane. Just Kirva is all over the place. He's a true global hero right now.
Samuro definitely the pick that has kept France in this game.
Definitely true. Look at the top keep here on the side of Team Sweden. It is dropping lower and lower. This opens a really good winning condition potentially for Team France if they dominate another team fight like they did a few minutes ago.
Team Sweden, they're waiting. They know that if they get a boss, the game is over. But they know that if Team France get a good team fight and they wipe them, or possibly even the curse, then they are in trouble because of that Samuro pick.
And this is a tricky situation for both teams to be in right now. Vision control in favor of Sweden. They know exactly when their opponents are going to join them. This location, though, favors Team Sweden a little bit. It is in a horseshoe nearby. Once again, the Horrify goes down, only hitting Arthas, but he's dropping so low. Genji is almost about to get the reset. Nice answers for healing as well, keeping Dykart and Skog alive. And this is a beautiful numbers advantage situation now. A huge, beautiful mosh pit, but there's only so much you can do. The biggest damage source was so low, Raymond could not really participate in the fight anymore. And as it is, though, France is salvaging the situation. 3-for-2 trade.
Masquerade making huge plays, getting 2 kills himself, but it looks like he goes down. The perfectly timed tongue by Daikon. Only Samuro alive, and I feel like this has to be game.
This has to be it. The curse is being active here, and still 3 members going for the core. Keep in mind, though, Sweden, they already failed dealing with the core once, but there's only a Samuro defending, and I think minions, catapults, they're all going to pour in from all 3 lanes at the same time. And even though they don't have a big sustained damage dealer, they should be able to take it. Kirwa is doing such a good job pressuring the main DPS source. Knuti is dropping dangerously low. However, I think with the help of the Winians, and the catapults, Team Sweden can tie out the series once more. 60%, 50%. It is a 2 versus 2. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to a game number 5.
And Sweden keep performing. Canuti landing a huge horrify, securing the end of that game by getting that Arthur's pick.
Yeah.
Such high-level play by both teams, and I'm so impressed.
And we have to highlight the fact that one-man horrifies aren't always good. However, if you get a target that is really isolated and separated from the rest of his team, you can really snowball a team fight from there.
Yes, you can. And that game was a joy to behold. There were so many little things that allowed the back and forth play. But guys, a game number 5 coming up soon.
In the first semifinals of the day. We're not even nearly done yet for this play day. We still have one more semifinals and a grand final to come. But Tetra, show us one of your little things. Show us one of your replays.
So I've got 3 replays, and I could have had so many more, but I had to limit myself so we wouldn't go forever. So the first one here is one of the fights in the mid to early stages of the game, where we saw a nice engage here onto Muradin. 7-sided. He pops Avatar a little bit later, so the percentage damage wouldn't get the extra damage on his Avatar, so he lives. Then Genji, he shreds through everything. A beautiful turnaround, gets another kill right at the end here, and dashes out with the Ancestral as well. Just an insane setup by Team Sweden, turning what could have been an easy kill onto Muradin, with him just getting the Avatar off in time, into them getting a couple kills.
And it really feels like so many players right now are stepping up their game for Team Sweden. We saw Skoch on that Genji turning on the heat. Henning, solid as always. And also Knuti. I mean, this guy never disappoints.
So and let's not forget about Daikon on the hacker.
Yeah.
He did get caught twice in the mid-game, but outside of that, landing so many influential tongues.
So my next replay is once again going to include the Genji, because there was a nice play here where we saw Team France trying to dive under the fort. They're looking onto Rust. We can see here Arthur, he pops the Army of the Dead to tank the minion, to tank the towers here. Genji, though, pops Dragon Blade, and yeah, it's doing hero damage, but look what else it does. It kills the undead minions. Rask escapes with a last-second helix at it, but now what's happening? Wonka gets the mosh pit, and this is going to be the death of the Gul'dan here, but now heroes are taking keep shots. We see Masquerade go down to the keeps and the minions. The keep then moves on to Ewok, who goes down. Then it moves on to Wonka, who also gets slowed and taken down at the end here. The keep dive with the Arthur's minions, usually successful, but Dragon Blade killing them so quickly that this dive turns into a disaster for France.
And we spoke about individual Swedish players stepping it up so tremendously. How could we forget about Rask on that Muradin? The amount of plays he debated into by just stunning people at the right moment, jumping to safety when it was really necessary. Fantastic display.
And the last replay I have is what could have been the turning point of that game for Team France, where we had a Horrify used quite early. France, they're kind of being pushed away here, but we see body blocks on the Rhaegar, stopping him escaping. Bolts from Wonka, dodging the Storm Bolt from Muradin, getting that mosh pit, completely zoning, and then Greymane, see him dying here? Nope, go for the throat as a disengage tool to get himself out of danger. And France, this could have been the turning point of the game, but they were just short of being able to do it.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff, and we couldn't have asked for a better way to finish this series other than with a Game 5. It is going to be a real nail-biter. Sweden rocking all that momentum, but we've seen previously as well that France have the material to tie it out once again.
Yeah, both teams playing so well, and you can see there are small mistakes creeping in, and that shows how much this series means to both teams.
Definitely true.
It's been so back and forwards. Either of these teams deserve to go to the grand finals, but only one can. And if you don't have all of your friends, you haven't sent them all a message saying you should be watching this by now, then you are doing it wrong. We need to get everyone in here because this series is insane.
Yeah, everyone get in here quite indeed. And you know what? We're going to give you guys a few minutes to catch up on snacks and drinks to really get into the perfect state of watching the finale of this first semifinal. So we'll be back with more games after a short break, right back after this.